Hello, today we're going to be talking about Holmes and Watson. This is a new version of the Sherlock Holmes genre. This is a comedy. It's not meant to be taken seriously at all, which hopefully people understand when they go and watch this. It stars Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. They've been in other movies before, the Talladega Nights and Step Brothers, which I really liked, but this one I don't. It's not very funny. They do these weird half English accents that kind of change. Like there's one point where Will Ferrell sings and his accent just disappears. The jokes aren't funny. The ones that are in the trailer are okay, but you see them in the trailer. They're not a surprise. There's a few beyond the trailer that made me laugh, but very few. There's a lot of sight gags where you just get a flash of like a sign, a funny sign, that kind of thing, but nothing that can't be done in any other story, taking time in this period. And there are a lot of period jokes that, you know, about the times, women can't be doctors, people smoking for their own health, things like that. Boxing. There's kind of a relive of the scene from the Robert Downey Jr. version of Sherlock Holmes, where he did the calculations in his head on how the fight would go. There was kind of like a satire of that, but it wasn't very funny because, again, they show something like that in the trailer. Rebecca Hall is good. Ralph Fiennes is Moriarty. He's not in it very much. For the most part, it's just those two, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, playing off each other and making a lot of jokes. And a lot of the problems with the jokes, they take too long to set up. By the time they just get started setting it up, you already know what the punchline's going to be, but it drags out. The setup drags out, the punchline drags out. They try and hit you over the head with it after they tell the joke, like, this is why it was funny, and that makes it not funny. It's not a really great mystery either. It's just a generic villain, generic mystery. You're supposed to get all your entertainment from seeing these two interact with each other, and in those other two movies they were really good, but in this one they still, I mean, you could tell that they have a chemistry, but the jokes are bad. They fall flat a lot. There's a lot of the sight gags. You know, they have like Titanic jokes, and that drags on for a long time. There's a lot of scenes that just go on way too long, almost like they thought of the jokes for the scene and they said, like, okay, let's make 20 minutes of this joke, and it's just not very entertaining. You might get some humor from some of the jokes, especially if you're a fan of John C. Reilly or Will Ferrell or their combination when they've been in those other movies, but for the most part the jokes fall flat. They're not funny, and it's not really a movie worth, it's definitely not a movie worth going to the theaters, but it's not worth buying or renting or anything really. It's something that probably should be ignored, and hopefully they do better next time. So that's Holmes and Watson, starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Not recommended at all. Maybe if it's free on Netflix or something, you might get a couple of good laughs out of it, but for the most part, it's not worth watching. So thank you, and have a nice day. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above.